This sponge is filthy. Shoot, I went to Family Dollar and forgot to buy the baby wipes. Oh Lord. Whoever's watching me, hey Brandy. Bring up a little bit of a mess I got going on in here. Can you hear me okay? Hi, Janet. Can you guys hear me okay? So you guys know I bought this mic today. Today. Well, I didn't buy it today. It arrived today. I bought it from eBay. So I'm not sure where I'm gonna put this. Sounds better when I have it close to me. So I might just put it over here somewhere. Um, and keep it low as opposed to keeping. I think that's probably the best bet I can do with that. Hi, Linda. You guys are probably wondering what the heck is this thing Carmen got on her desk right now? Wow. Wanting a brayer. Let me mute this now that I know that you guys can hear me. I've been wanting a brayer for I don't even know how long, but they're quite expensive. I'm trying not to sound like an echo. All right. So I've been wanting a brayer for some time. So today I went over to, first of all, I didn't buy it online because it was a little bit expensive. Even for a small one, it was a little bit expensive. Wish list. Eventually I'll get to it, but it's not necessarily a must-have right now. Not so much a need. Hi FBA. So I did a little invention today. I don't know if this is something that anybody else has done. But what I did is I bought a rolling pin from Family Dollar because I happened to go there today. And they come like this, it already comes with a little, uh, it comes with a little thing on it. Yesterday, I was trying to make one. I had this tube and I cut it down, but then I couldn't find anything to kind of thread through it in order to make like the handles so it could go around. But it's dirty cardboard, so you know. And so today I go to Family Dollar and I'm like, I just happened to pass by the hardware section and I stopped because I found the E6000 glue for $3. So it's a good deal. So I stopped and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get it. So I went and I got it. This literally catches me of my eye, the paint roller. And since I still had this on my mind from yesterday, from wanting to turn this into a brayer, if I can turn this, turns and it's got a handle on it. It's a little clumsy because it's kind of big. But other than that, I'm like, I wonder. Home and I'm trying to figure this out. Ended up doing, for those of you guys, okay, guys, that spices, like those little dollar bottles of like onion powder and garlic powder and the curries and all of that good stuff. This one, which had garlic powder in it, but it didn't have pretty much anything left. Like my bottle was empty. I always buy like 5 or 6 bottles of those things because my food. So, and my kids don't like the chunks, so this just makes it easier. Ahead and I kind of cut this down. Now, my original idea was to put it through here, but when I put it in, I'm like, oh shoot, it's too big. So I put this back, and then I'm like, I wonder in the tube with the thing on. But what I did is I cut off all the bulky edges, you know, all the edges that were, you know, sticking out so that it's lays flat. This is the label of the one that I got here. I'm gonna throw that out. Just wanted to show you guys. And then I just kind of push this thing through. OMG, it's like the perfect size. And it doesn't dance around in there or nothing. So I got a brayer. Anybody is like in the same position that I am, I didn't necessarily, I just did this literally like maybe 20, 30 minutes ago. And I was like, I wonder if, you know, if anybody out there is in the same as far as wanting a brayer, so on and so forth, be it for jelly plating or whatever it is that you want to do, different color paints or whatever the case is, or even gluing stuff down because you can actually, you know, push a lot of the air out just by rolling this thing on there. Um, with myself. And granted, I have to stick this thing in hot water just to get some of that, you know, to pretty much get all of that glue off. So I'm gonna put this thing in hot water, just to get all of that rest of that glue off, and then just clean it down with alcohol really good, just to make sure that there's no glue residue on it. So I won't be using it today, I don't think. Like, yeah, it works. At least I think it's gonna work, and I always have bottles, one of these bottles left over because, like I said, I buy a lot of these cheap powdered spices, so I can always find a replacement if it ever starts to get crazy on me because it's either too textured or whatever. But it's plastic, so with hot water, you should be able to peel off pretty much any paint, so any kind of medium that you put on this. So it's a good way to recycle, and you guys know I'm always looking to recycle. So, oh, really? There you go. And it's really cheap. I mean, like I said, it's really clunky because the handle is like humongous. I would have loved for it to have maybe have had a smaller handle like that because it is hollow. So maybe I can with like a hot knife or something, or even with like one of my that you seal off the plastic with, even maybe with that, I might be able to get it really hot and just shorten up this handle a little bit and just round off the edges so that it's not, you know, uncomfortable to use. And then I could just have a small one because my hand's not that big. I could get rid of all that excess. I don't need all that excess off there. Easier for me to store, but it was raining here most of the day. Thank you, darling. Every time I figure something out or my brain like starts this chain reaction, I'm like, I gotta share it, I gotta share it, I gotta let my friends know. So that's enough of my little DIY thing for today. To the good stuff. Um, I've been pretty much, I went kind of nuts. I'm gonna say 2 weeks, 3 weeks solid. Much ordering from eBay because you guys know that's my favorite little hotspot. A whole bunch of dyes and stamps. And so I haven't received all of them yet, but they are starting to trickle in. And I just wanted to show you guys more or less the ones that I got. It's not a lot. That's why I called it a small eBay haul. But I did get the mic off of eBay. I showed you guys these stickers that I got the other day on my live stream. They're like washi tape, transparent, so you kind of put them on any kind of background scene, and as long as the color in the background is not too dark, then these will show good. These are also great for like planners, um, to just kind of decorate your planner with and stuff like that. And I got birds, flowers, and then sea things. So that's that for that. Out of my stamps, this is the only one that has arrived so far. Guys, how much it costs that I'm gonna use today because I've been on a kick lately and I've been wanting to do some. Well, I actually did one yesterday, which I'll share with you guys in a little bit if I can find where I put it. Hopefully, I didn't fling it out of a window. You guys can come and go as long as you come back. So I got this one. It has roses, and I kind of have some of these already. I'm gonna compare with the ones that I have because I might already have these two from another set that they have. Cute. a white background here to hopefully be able to show you guys the details a little bit better. It has got the two individual flowers, you know, the rosebuds or whatever. And it's got like, I think it's like pebbles or not pebbles, petals off of this wilting kind of flower here on the side. Sending you flowers, which is I thought it was really cute because you can kind of apply it as a sentiment, or like if something happened to somebody and you want to, you know, just send your regards, so on and so forth, or just as a thinking of you kind of card. It works on many levels, so I thought that that was cool. So I got that, and tell you guys how much I paid because I've been making a list of what I've been getting, and this is my little planner, you guys, and I use it. I just it's a little crazy here. I don't use it as often as I should, but I do use it. Where's August? A whole month that I don't touch it. But usually when I have like dyes and stuff like that I buy, I like to come in here and just write down when I buy them or how many I bought for that day. Not necessarily like the name and stuff like that, but just keep track of the number because I can always go to eBay and find out what's what. And then far, I bought a total of 26 items, but not all 26 are dyes. It's a mixture of dyes, stamps, stickers. For my daughter that she had wanted. So um, this one, which is the rose stamp, cost me $2.15 here. I have a whole bunch of other stuff coming in, which I'll show you guys, you know, through my live streams as they go. I was thinking about doing them individually, haul videos are concerned, but there's just so many haul videos out right now, overwhelming. So I didn't want to add another layer to all of that. So I figured I'd just show you guys what, you know, whenever I go live. And then I'll show you what I've done so far with like my dies. And then we'll get into some kind of card crafting as we move forward. Yes, it's very pretty, Brandy. To try some watercolor on this. And kind of like the card that you was doing earlier with the masking of the stuff. You know that I tried one of my own yesterday, which I'll find it somewhere. Oh, here it is. I'll show you guys. Greatest at this. I'm kind of trying out new. I've done masking before, but never with the detail of stamping the image out completely and just doing a whole bunch of them, which is kind of like what I did with this one. Masks here, and I even have images left over. Masks, like I stamped out the image, and then I just cut them all out. And then I did a couple of them because I figured if I was gonna be layering more than one on top of another, then it would be a good idea to just create a few of them. Do one there, then I would stamp it, do what I gotta do, then cover it, then keep going. You know, you guys know what I mean. And just pretty much covering as I go so that I don't mess up my images. And then I also did the leaves. I just did one set because I wasn't gonna be adding that many leaves. But I kind of messed up on this one a little bit, but I finished it anyway. I figure why not? Too Brandy will only get better from here. I tell you that. So this is the card that I made, and then I used the eBay die to pretty much get the little label, eBay die. I mean, a stamp from eBay that I have. And I only have gold embossing powder. I pretty much only have 3 jars. I just ordered myself a black one finally. Have heard me like before say that I and I actually wished for it a couple times, but I never got any kickback on that. And I also had opted to swap out. Like I have two of the same, so I was willing to trade for some black, but I never got a bite on that either. So I finally, eventually, so I just ordered it the other day, and it's coming. I found a pretty decent price, so that's coming, and hopefully I'll be able to do more embossing on some of the cards that I'm going to be creating moving forward. But yeah, this is what I did. I used this dark one here, gold color, and I thought since I don't have black, it's the darkest thing that I can put on it. Oh, and then what I did is I know that a lot of people complain about static when they're gonna emboss. So baby powder for that. So all you have to do is get some baby powder. Like I researched this because I'm trying to figure out like how to make my own. Because you guys know, in pennies, I'd rather invest the money in other things than make your own. Like why not? So what I did is that I grabbed baby powder, just your regular old run of the mill baby powder, and I filled up the sock at least I'm gonna say almost halfway, more than a quarter of the way, almost halfway. And then I tied a knot and folded it over on itself, and then tied it up here again. And then what you do is you pretty much pounce it. That powder just kind of comes out, but it doesn't come out so much that you're overwhelming your paper. But just by pouncing it a little bit, you can get, like you can see my hand is wet right there. But pretty much just helps get rid of the static. Pounce it on your paper and then do your stamping with your embossing ink pad, and then add your embossing powder, and that'll pretty much do the job for you. So that's kind of like how I did that, and it did a really good job. None of the other, I didn't have getting stuck in other little places. Also, I was able to, kind of randomly add some embossing powder on the back, and pretty much this is supposed to be like that baby's breath or whatever it's called, baby whispers, those little white thingamajigs you usually find in flowers. But I did it in gold because I don't have white. So that's pretty much what I did for the card. Very simple, the whole thing. Texture, it's got the watercolor and just a whole bunch of layers. And then the inside, what I did is like a gatefold, and like I said, it's kind of messed up. So this won't be going to nobody. This was more practice than anything else. And I did it with like a little pocket here. So if you wanted to send something or the other, or add another card inside of this card, or a personal note or letter, then you can just kind of stick it in here. Started off as a gatefold card. So little lip right here is actually this little lip that's right here, which is why it's kind of there. So it was a gatefold card. So what I did is on watercolor paper, I just cut this part out and then just stuck it to the little lip here and then just covered the whole thing, which is why I covered the whole card on the inside. Yeah, that's what I do with that. And so, hi Maida, is your phone charged? Yeah, you could use cornstarch too, and you could actually mix cornstarch with baby powder and do the same exact thing. So this is, I guess, something that's been around for quite some time, but it worked for me. So I definitely recommend it moving forward. It's something that I can say tried and passed. A good idea. And if you have baby powder, then why not? Now you can make your gesso, you can make your modeling paste, and you can make yourself your anti-static little bag. So many uses for some baby powder, huh, you guys? So one stamp set that I got, and as far as dies, this is what I did. Now, 15, it was a 12-inch roll by 5-inch roll of magnet sheet because I got so excited when it arrived that I just went into craft mode. But if you guys want the link to where I got it from, let me know. It cost me about $15 per roll, and it's 5 foot by 12 inches. And I measured it; it was to the T. So you're not gonna get it in a box like it's advertised, but you do get the measurement you're supposed to get. I measured it, 60 inches long. So, uh, and you guys know I count my pennies. Yes, I do. If something is like 5 inches short, I'm like, can I get my 5 inches, please? Thank you very much. I pay for those 5 inches. I want those 5 inches. Let me close this up. Well, no, let me show you what I got. So the next thing that I got from them, and then I'll show you guys pretty much what I did here. Been seeing a lot of not eBay YouTubers storing their dies on like cardstock and stuff like that, and then they're like decorating it with washi. So I pretty much jumped on board with that whole thing because I kind of want to have them in a small, a small enough box that is not in my way, but somewhere on my desk. Um, so sets. No, I got 3 die sets. What's the third one? This one. So I got this awesome lady here. for $1.59. Now this is the one that I'm not too happy with, although I like the dye, fond of small things, unless I know that they're small. Hold on, I need something to drink because I'm choking on myself. One, two, 1, 2 testing. Is the throat clear? I think so. All right, so I felt like I got gypped. I felt like I got ripped off. Now I know it was my fault, which is why I didn't ask for back or I didn't flip out on the seller because I should have read the description, which clearly says so it's really not that big, but you guys know I like nautical things. So when I saw it and I just got so excited about seeing this background that I went for it and I didn't read the description. So that was my fault, Lord. But it's really cute though, and I'm just like, oh, this sucks so bad. But I think it will look cute like with a smaller kind of card, and using maybe some mermaid dyes. Let me see my mermaid dye over here. Find it. You gotta be around here somewhere. Um, how's the mic sounding, you guys? You guys can hear me well? Well, I can't take the credit, Brandy, because it's definitely not my idea. I should have done this sooner, but I didn't. But this is what I did though for my mermaids on, because this set right here, you guys saw me use the live. That's from Stampendous stamp set. So what I did is I actually stapled to the back the sheet with the stamps on it. So now I have my Stampendous on one side, my stamps on one side, and I have the other stamps. And you guys know that I got these two mermaids here from eBay. So comparison's sake, it's too big. It's too big. But maybe if she's off to the side, like if I make a card that's big enough where I can put this in the center, maybe offset her a little bit, then it might work. But to the side like so. I don't know. Maybe I'll try that today and see what that looks like. I mean, I really like this thing so far, and then that kind of frees up my Clip It Up so that I can just use that mainly for my stickers. Collection grows, use and just that way have my stuff in a little bit more of a balanced organization type of situation, if you guys know what I mean. So I got that one, and then so that one costed me. I'm gonna tell you right now, the fish frame costed me 277. I'm pretty sure one seller. So I don't think I'm even gonna list that seller unless somebody wants to pay the 277 for it. Then request it and I'll give it to you guys. But I'm pretty sure that you can probably find this frame because it's small. Usually the ones that are $3 and up or close to $2 and up are the ones that are larger sets. This one was pretty small. It's almost like an ATC size, and it's not my favorite. You can't make out what it is. Well, let me die cut it for you real quick. Cut it. That way you can see it in all its glory. Splurged on magnetic sheet because I was just tired of taping my stuff up. Went ahead and um, got the magnetic sheet for the Cuttlebug. So now I'm almost as close to Big Shot as I can possibly get without having to upgrade machine. Hi, Deb. So for this, you just put your do not cut mat down because I have that labeled my for because I didn't label one. I was just using them all. I know better now. I have evolved. I have evolved. So then you put your magnet, and then and I know you guys can't really see this, then you put your die on top of the magnet and you can hear that snap. It snaps really well. And then I'm gonna get some paper um, and show you guys what it looks like. And I'm just gonna get a solid sheet, a solid color. So I'm gonna get a blue and then put that on a white background so that you guys can see. Let me pull this out of the way. I have my die on there. And this thing really does not budge. It holds onto the die really, really well. So if you guys have been wondering about that um, magnetic cutting mat for the Cuttlebug, I think it's a good investment. I'm gonna put that there. Make sure that I don't. There we go. So you just use the 2B plates and the cutting mat on this one. You don't use your C plate. What you are left with So what you're left with pretty much after it cuts that out, cut it off because they don't want to pop off. I should have probably passed through it again. Dang it. I didn't pass through it enough times. How this go? Thing is a perfect little spot right there. Let me pass this thing again. I haven't even used these at all. I literally got them this morning. I went to the post office because I have my stuff on hold there now. Making sure which side I cut through. Let's make sure that that's on there properly. Okay. Add into all those little grooves. There we go. And let's pass it again. So I guess it cuts out little fishes, like little individual fishes. Overkill in this thing right now. Did the trick. I use thicker paper, so maybe that's why too. But let's see. Kind of at least lets me take these little fishies out. This whole little scene. Okay. I'm gonna have to cut this out to smaller paper, but you guys more or less see what it does for this guy. It is. There's fishes stuck on here or no? Yeah, I left the fish behind. And it's got like one little fish you can put in the center there. Who else is here? Hey, Nada. Hi, Liz, you are automatically the moderator, huh? Um, part. That's pretty cool because I always forget to do things, so that just makes it automatic for you. Um, it cuts out all these little bubbles and stuff, so that's pretty cute. And it's got a little star down here. Well, so for a cute little card, like if you did this card on the front and then on the inside, maybe you put your mermaid, or if you did like with it, you could put this part on top of the shaker and then put the mermaid on the inside. So this will pretty much be covering the outside of your shaker thing. Mermaid on the inside, so it's like you're looking through here, and then the mermaid is on the inside of the little cup or where your shaker stuff is at. probably look really, really cute. So, but for 277, it probably would have stayed where it was, to be honest with you. Good deal, Brandy. We pay. I guess we'll pay whatever for the things we like, huh? Searching. It's just, you know what it is. Sometimes these people, they do not write down the names of stuff. They only have numbers. Like a lot of them have numbers, so you really have to search, look for different things. Like I usually go and I'll do like newly listed to see if there's any new items that I've never seen before. That, and then if I don't find anything that, then I'll revert to like lowest to highest. But I'm gonna see if I find this in a cheaper. And if you guys go to AliExpress, I know a lot of you guys have luck with Ali. I personally do not have luck with Ali. I don't even bother shopping there because they still owe me. So me and AliExpress are not on good terms. My very first official buy there, and they messed me over. So it's a done deal. So I got that one. Let me move this other way again. And then this piece of sheet that was pretty much perfect for this. I didn't custom size it. I just pretty much looked in the scraps that I had left over, and this was perfect for that. And that let me tell you something. That 5 foot roll of it it did a lot. I did all of these. I pretty much did all of these in here. I was able to pretty much just get them all in there. I'm gonna have to be adjusting them so far. But what I did is that like the washi tape from Dollar Tree. I'll buy it if it's cute enough that I know that I can at least use double-sided tape and use it. I have actually stopped buying washi tape from Dollar Tree because I just don't like cute images, but they don't stick. Something to buy, something to make it work, like purpose. So what I did is that all the rolls that I had there, I started using it. So anything that is flowers and trees and grass related tape that had the little green leaves on it. So that kind of tells me I didn't label it because in case I want to recycle this and use something else on it, or like if I upgrade or I put these on a bigger sheet or whatever the case may be, then I just have to cover up the washi tape as opposed to having to change the name and this, that, and the third. So pretty much right now, my washi tape is like it tells me, so like I have all my flowers and stuff there. But what I did is that like my stackable dies, I used the chevron washi tape because they're stacked on top of one of the others. So that lets me know that okay, these are stackable dies, and that's kind of how I have it. Um, what else do I need to show you guys that I have not showed you guys? Most part, that's kind of how I have it. And like my angels, I use the one of stars because stars are in heaven and so are the angels. My way of thinking, and I'm like, okay, so I did it that way. I kind of coordinated them mentally to what made sense to me. Like my butterflies have butterfly washi. My other flowers have flower washi. Just flowers, I can do nothing else with them. Flower washi. So I have between flowers and the green leaves. Anything that's like ornate, or I know that I can add one thing inside of another, then I did that. Not so much stackable because they don't have like 15 dyes of one style. Up in and out of each other to kind of create different patterns. I use the ones with the little dots. Um, that's kind of like how I went. Like for this one, it reminds me of how this dye is, so I use that. My dyes pretty much before the ones that I have, so I didn't really go too crazy. And like for the mermaid one, I used this one because it looks like water. That will be a good bet. But I only had this much, so the back is in pink, which is fine because that kind of tells me I have the stamp back there. So I kind of let that slide. And so we have that one. And I told you how much I paid for that one, 277. One that I got, And this is like the Taylor one. You can see that one. Yeah. Yum yum. It's been a while since they had sausage. That's kind of like what I did. This one, I'll tell you right now how much I paid for them. Like some of them I got a good deal on. Some of them I feel like if it would have been last year, I would have paid way less for them. Their prices have slowly started to increase based on the demands. Um, oh, I'm not too thrilled. I guess we're still paying less. We're still paying less. So for I call this the Taylor stamp, $2.89. Probably could have had a better deal, but I got this to this one, um, which is let me see if I find it real quick. Wait, somewhere around there. Like this one, I put the I put the crown because I figured royalty gets all dressed up and so on and so forth. I know I'm so cheesy, but this is what I use. But I got this one, and I think I paid $1 something for it or $2. It didn't include this gift from one of my subscribers. Send it to me, or in a Happy Meal exchange, one of the two. But it came with these little pieces right here. The shoe, I don't know what the heck that is. I think it's supposed to be like a handkerchief. I don't know. A hat and a purse, and then it's got the one. Really smaller. But I got one, and then this one I got three. So I got one with texture, one without, in the other direction, and I got a pair of scissors and some buttons. So why they sent me two? That was dumb. But I don't think I need two of the same. I could just use one and run it over. So the buttons I could understand, but this makes no sense to me. But yeah, and I paid what I said. I paid 289 for this. 289 for this. So this again, I think you could probably find it cheaper. I was just in a very happy mood when I went into eBay. So next time I'll try to go in there angry so that I can really bargain hunt. Um, it's really cute, and I haven't been making like pocket letters and stuff like that like I used to. Again, those are all things that I'm trying to get myself back into it, which is why I went ahead and started ordering like all these dyes and stuff like that. I'm like, if I don't start if things that I'm not gonna get the mood of making them, if that makes any sense. So a good, I have a good collection. I'm not gonna say I have an enormous collection. I will still range my collection in the level of small, compared to a lot of people out here that are, they've pretty much bought every dye available. Um, I'm just trying to increase range, because I feel like the dyes that I do have, their capacity or have already kind of bored me, on one level or the other. So this is why I haven't used them. By adding new pieces in, then it'll help me to kind of find new love for the other pieces that I have as well, because now I can kind of, mix and match and just do different things with them. So yeah, you guys are gonna be seeing some more dyes from me, moving forward. So what I want to definitely do is play with that stamp set. Yes. So let's play with that stamp set first. Hopefully we'll have time, and then I want to go into trying to make maybe one of those C, uh, cards. I don't know about making a shaker with them because I don't think I have anything that's that big to like store, confetti and stuff like that. That I had, I kind of used it, um, and I have one package left, other package left, but this is just way too big for that. Um, but maybe I wonder, cut this apart, then maybe I can make, like, if you can cut it apart, like if you cut out four of them or three of them or two of them or whatever the case is, then maybe you could cut these in half, then piece them together to make a bigger or larger frame. So I might try that and see if I can find, if I can extend the use of that die by making it larger, cutting it, and see what happens there. So yay. Carmen, do you envelopes? Yes, I have purses instead of envelopes. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna do that with that. I'm not gonna do the shaker. I'm gonna do a regular card. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a few of those out and I'm gonna make a regular card, watercolor it of watercolor paper, watercolor the blue in, and create my own scene, stamping on the background. But I'm gonna make it dimensional. I think is the best way to put it. I'm gonna make it dimensional on the front so that I can stick the mermaid inside of the scene. In the front, I want that to be like, on the foreground. So let's get into this flower stamp. Oh yes, and I didn't show you. Let me see. So I've been doing inspired by some of my crafty friends here on YouTube. Again, just trying to maximize my space. And originally, when Kelly gave me the Clip It Up, I put all my stamps on it. I put all my stamps and I put all my dies, and I was just like, yay, jumping up for joy. But look what happened. I think it was about to break on me because it was too heavy. So I decided to take all of that stuff off because I didn't want to damage it. I figured I can use it for stickers that are very lightweight, and I could probably maximize the use of it going that way. So what I hope to do is have all of my regular stickers on one rack and then put all my holiday stickers on the other rack, and that way, so on and so forth, and just separate it from the regular everyday, um, you know, kind of regular sticker. If you guys know what I mean. This is my binder, and I bought a ream. Well, I got two reams actually of Nina White cardstock from eBay because again, you guys know me at eBay. We're like distant cousins. So I got it. I think I paid less than $20 for it, and I got it literally within like I think it was 48 to. It was not 24 to. It was like 48 hours. I got it. I was so stuck because I get this notice from my UPS because I have everything on tracking like to the fullest. So as soon as they receive the order with my name and my address, I get a email telling me, listen, you have a package on the way. And I'm like, what the heck? So when I looked at it, I'm like, who the hell is sending me? Like it was some weird company. I never heard of it. And I go to the eBay and it's not the same company. Like it's not the same name or it's not coming from the same location. No, and then it's like it weighs, I think it was like 30 pounds or something like that. And I was like, what the heck? So I started Googling the company. Brandy and Liz know about this because I was asking them. I was like, who the hell is this company? You guys ever heard of this company? And they're like, no, I never heard of it. So I tried Googling and I couldn't find nothing on it other than they had changed their name to something else and something about a catalog. And I was like, oh my God, I hope they do a 30-pound catalog because I'm going to flip out that my paper got shipped out from a distribution warehouse. So the person's selling it, but they don't distribute it; they just sell it. So that's why my paper came like super fast. So that was that. So I got about 500 sheets for like $18, which I thought was a pretty good deal. Even though I know you guys can get it for cheaper, especially like if you go to stuff like that through Amazon. Because we was talking about it before I bought it, but I don't have Prime because as that often. So maybe in the future is something that I might do because I know that you guys can save money through doing that. I went ahead and I kind of these are the stamps that I have to figure out and where they need to go. But these are all my stamps, and then what I did is kind of labels everything. So I try to color coordinate to a certain degree. Again, something that kind of makes sense to me. So I have all my stuff kind of labeled. So anything to do and flowers, I put on my green section, and then I use a piece of cardstock film that I've showed you guys before. It's for projectors, and I got a really nice the thrifty store that I go to. I think I paid like $1 something for two boxes. They were pretty much full. They were never used. So I've always tried to find uses for this and stamp them, and I'll use them, as stamped images to give forward because people can use that, in their pocket letters, so on and so forth. But recently I found a new use for it, which is to stick my stamps on it. So that's what I did. And then I just backed it up by a piece of cardstock, kind of did that. Oh, Deb, I have the same exact thing. I do the same exact thing. So I save everything, which is good and bad. Much I have all of those little things here. Flourishes. So let me just find where I have my flowers. And I kind of just labeled my labels kind of simple, like trees and flowers. Flourishes I kept to one side because I can use as decoration. So I put flourishes, borders, and labels, banners and stuff like that. I put those together. And then I kept my trees and anything that is, flower, tree related, and grass related. I kept it all together. See real quick because again, I had an eBay stamp, which is this one right here with the roses. See if it's the same exact thing. So it's not. So it's not the same. Well, that's good because you know how you don't want to have five of the same things. And I know I've seen other stamp sets that they sell that some of the pieces are kind of mixed and matched. So it'll include like one or two pieces from one stamp, and they'll put it on a new stamp, and then they'll pretty much sell you the new stamp. So I just wanted to confirm that real quick. Uh, Somewhere along the lines, a minute or two, I put all my sentiments in the back. So that I probably should put all my sentiments in the front. But this thing is heavy and it is a pain in the katush. So, but at least they're all in one spot for now until I find something different. I'm always trying to find the next thing. And buttons there, well, you know what? You could do a million and one things with buttons, so that's not a bad deal. So okay, actually, this stamp kind of fell out of there, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. And I'm just using the regular Dollar Tree labels for that. My thing is gonna be mostly to create some masks for it. Um, and this is usually my problem when I buy cardstock. I go crazy and I use cardstock. I write on cardstock. I I do everything on cardstock when I should really be preserving my cardstock for and other things that I can use, like flip books and stuff like that. But I end up using the cardstock for everything under the sun. All right, so I'm gonna need those scissors. So pretty much what I did is I've been searching because again I'm trying to get better at making cards so that I can bring you guys, different things and stuff like that. So I went online and I started researching and I kind of looked it up like standard card sizes, so on and so forth. Um, is These are all of last Saturday's winners. I have all my little pieces of paper together. Um, this is a recollections things. I won this from somebody here on YouTube a while back, and I didn't know what to do with it, but I figured, you know what, I can use it to pretty much keep my card ideas and stuff like that in it. So I gotta start from somewhere. So what I did is I went online and I found this cheat sheet, and I think it was on Pinterest on there, and it pretty much has card sizes from 4 1/4 all the way down the line. And it not only tells you the card size that you're going to end up with, but it tells you the size paper that you need to cut to start off with. So you end up with this. Plus, it tells you where you need to score it at when you're going to make a standard card, just a regular open close card. Plus, it also had the gatefold scores. So if you want to make a gatefold card for each of these and keep it proportionate, um, then I also wrote those down. So for all of these different cards, now I have all the gatefold scores, which is how I ended up making. I'm practicing. Rhonda, right? Try Customs, that's your name. No, I have your card in here somewhere. So, so pretty much that's what I did because you know how it is. And then I also wrote myself a little note where about the matting so that if I so that I can get the thing, you know, pretty much in proportion, a half an inch or a quarter of an inch, you know, all the way around, I guess, so that the card itself stays. I'm gonna do some matting on that. So hopefully I'll be trying more. You guys will be seeing me make more cards in the near future. So for now, I'm gonna have this open. Go with the 8.5 by 5.5, which is the size of the card that I just made. The only difference is that I'm not gonna gatefold score this one. I'm just gonna do it regular at 4.25. Before I do any of that, let me just close this for now. Before I do any of that, I'm gonna go ahead and get some masking done because we're definitely gonna need that. Over here, let's get some masking done. And I got some munchies today. I have a bag of combos here on the side with me. A little cheesy snack for in between. And that while I'm making cards, because then the cards will get dirty. So I got that. My little ink block around here. Now, obviously, if you're gonna, you know, if you're just going straight into the card base and you don't need a stamping tool, then it's better if you use that. But since I'm gonna do masking and I have to cut all those little pieces off first, just use the little Dollar Tree one that I got for now, so that I don't have to contraption. And then this too is gonna go in my binder at some point. But I think I'm gonna have to get a bigger binder because I think that one's chock full. Yes, Rhonda. All right, I remembered. I found it really, really easy, Deb. I just look for card standard sizes and pretty much through the pictures, then it takes you to Pinterest and there's like a whole bunch of different cheat sheets there. Yes, let's get into this adorbs um, stamp. Stamp out some. I think I'm gonna do 3 of each, and then this is just gonna go once. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna make this card just yet, but I'm gonna put this in the top here. How this card is gonna turn out just yet. You know, hey, I'm trying to squeeze it in there. I'm trying to make sure that my brain has room for new instructions because it's very stubborn. Um, and it always wants to splash paint on everything. You know, it's like telling a small child not to touch the big red button. My brain is just like, push it, push it, push it, throw some paint, throw some paint. Where are the brushes? So it starts getting cranky. Use one first and then just stamp out some images. Um, let me get my other. Now this is just mostly for the shape of the of the stamp so that you can kind of put it over. But after you start stamping all over all of them, it's gonna be really hard to kind of make out the details. Just be aware of that because I was figure out like, okay, where how does this go? All of the lines at some point. I found that a little bit confusing, but again, I always try to do things extra, which I need to learn how to simplify as opposed to exaggerate. Yeah, it's really cute. I'm not gonna front it. It's really, really cute. And I don't think it's a rose. It might be another kind of flower, but I'm not sure. I'm not good at naming things. To me, all flowers are flowers. Even roses are flowers. I mean, they're all flowers. You guys know what I mean. It's a flower. It'll be the white flower, the yellow flower. Their distinction is their color. So I'm gonna stamp it out 3 times, and maybe I'll actually stamp it out more. That I might be able to add the card, give the card some dimension by overlapping some of the clear ones that I might not use. So I'm gonna stamp it out a few more times actually, and see if I go there. If not, then somewhere as I move forward. They'll end up in somebody's happy mail roll. So that's that one. And that's the wrong side. This one, cute. So I guess I have a rose and then whatever other flower this is. So that's nice. They gave you more than one flower. Hi Teresa. See, stamps, I love buying. Well, I used to have not like buying stamps at eBay. Like for a short while, completely turned off because I started getting some really stinky ones. And then I ended up getting one that was kind of oily, and I was like, "What the heck?" So, I kind of got discouraged and I stopped buying. But that I just showed you guys is pretty much chuck 99% of eBay stamps. And yes, I have. I mean, not 99%. I'm gonna say like a good 65, 70% is eBay stamps, and the rest are just stamps that I got in hauls through lucky through lucky buys. Um, at their styles and their sizes. And their price point is still pretty much the same. So I like the fact that the stamps don't go up too high. You to pay $1 something for this stamp is like amazing, and it clings so far so good. So that's always a good thing. And then what I think I'm gonna do, which I probably should have done this differently. Well, maybe not, because I'm going to watercolor paper to stamp out. Card is gonna be in watercolor paper, but I'll get to that part in a minute. So I think I did four. I'm gonna do one more. Now two as my masks, two of each design for my masking. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut out, and I'm gonna leave the other two to kind of layer it on top. Yeah, that's still kind of on the possible, but not 100% yet. From here, poppy flowers. That can be what they are. That can very well be what they are because it does look like poppy flowers. See, there's always somebody out there that knows more than me. There's always somebody out there that knows more than me. I suck at names. This is why I don't do those kinds of videos where I'm like saying the names of this or saying the names of that because I will so completely like misdirect you. You will end up with the wrong thing. Okay, so Liz is asking me to explain what I did with with the cards. Now you're asking about the watercolor card that I just made. I keep losing it. What did I do with it? Oh, it's right here. With this card, well, you just clean them up by putting them in some water. Maida, that's what I do. Like the clear ones, these cling ones, you just put them with a little bit of water, like some mild water, and you can add maybe a little bit of alcohol to it, just to loosen up some of that ink, depending on the ink that you're using. Um, or let me see if I find it. What I do with this, one of the rubber stamp cleaning pads. So I have this one, and I have one more if I can find it. I have that one, and then I have this one from Stamping Up. I These were in the haul that I just ended up getting. I think they were um, I think they were in the haul that I got the Tim Holtz stamps from inks from. This is a double sided one, and they sell a liquid that you can use on it. liquid for, you know, depending on the ink. But usually what I do is I just get the strongest alcohol that I can find. Like this is 91%. Spray a little bit with like a spray bottle. I spray the ink pad in there and I keep one side dry and one side I spray. And then I'll scrub it on one side and dry it on the other and then put it away. That. Now, for this one, I'll just add ink to it. I mean, not ink. I'll add alcohol to this. And if you don't find 91%, that's fine. You know, any kind of alcohol that you find is fine. Just to get it loosened up because alcohol takes away. If alcohol can clean Sharpie marker, almost everything. Now, wash out your clothes out and lighten it up, right? Um, but or you can just use a little bit of water and soap. So you can get like a little spray bottle with a little water soap mixture. Dish soap is fine, and just spray it. Don't drench it. Just spray it down if you have a scrub pad, and then do that. And you can make your own kind of pad by grabbing a sponge and putting it in a little container, a little plastic Tupperware, and then you just clean it from there. You dip them in there and scrub it out, and then get one that you could dip it to rinse it off since it's gonna have soap. Right. You know, pat dry them and then clean them back up. Yeah, they do. I actually have a bottle, but I just don't know where it is because I honestly speaking don't really use it because I use the alcohol. Um, it's somewhere. Maybe I'll try to see if I find it. It's gotta be in one of my bins. Bins available. Let me see. Maybe you guys get lucky today, twice in a row. Um, so yes. Okay, you guys got lucky 2 days in a row. So this is something called Rub and Scrub, and it's for this ink pad, and it has but there's still liquid in there. I just again I don't really use it. Um, and it says cleans and conditions your stamps, and it's a special rub and scrub, and it's got like a little foam tab. You guys ever used not Noxzema, Claracel? I think it was Claracel for acne back in the day, like back in the day. That it used to have. It used to be a bottle like this, and it used to have like a little thing here on the. It wasn't felt, but it was like a little bit of a fabric or something here on the top, and then you used to scrub it on your face and let it dry, and it was like a alcohol thing. Well, it's kind of built like that, and it's got a little thing there. So she can't hear me. You guys can hear me? Okay. Ah, so Teresa, that sucks. You sure it's not on mute? Like you don't have the video player itself on mute? I spelled video completely wrong. Wrote it on video. Lord. I see I can't type on my phone or on my computer. Like this is just nuts. Erase the end. Uh, well, thank you, darling. So that's pretty much how I clean up my stamp pads. I don't really use this. You could buy it if you want to. I know that like StazOn inks and some other inks are a little bit harder to get off, so you might have to figure out a different way of using that. I don't have StazOn ink. It works fine for my Memento. It comes off pretty much with water if you use enough of it. And so that's that. So as far as the card, pretty much what I did is I masked on. I stamped like I did here. I stamped out a whole bunch of images, and I'm gonna fine cut them out now. And then as I go stamping, you guys will pretty much see what I'm gonna do. as far as layering them and all of that good stuff. Stamp on hand here. Um, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stamp out this section here of this glass, but not the bottom, just in case I might need to piece here. This one might be awkward. This one you'll definitely have to use some kind of a stamping tool block to kind of use because it's kind of awkward in shape, but stamp out here. Those come out because in case I want to stamp around there and make it look like maybe there's more flowers there. I don't really know where I'm going with it right now, but hopefully it'll work the way I need it to work. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit of that cup and then just kind of stamp this thing out. I'm just gonna on this side, just in case I need to kind of mask that whole area out. But it's really pretty. I'm not gonna lie, it's a really really pretty step set. I just don't. I think I'm gonna have to use my stamping tool to stamp out this glass on my paper. Awkward, and I don't want to mess it up. It's really pretty. The flowers, the details. Um, Hopefully it translates well when I paint it all. So the piece de la resistance. We are here. So I'm just gonna cut these out, and I'm gonna try to do them quick, and fuzzy cut them out. And again, I might end up using one or two of the individual stamps just to give the card a little bit of dimension somewhere along the line. But all comes out because you guys know me already. And I'm gonna stamp my images before I add watercolor to the kind of watercolor markers. I'm not sure yet. Um, I might use some watercolor markers to just brighten up some of the colors. But I think I'm gonna do that after I watercolor them just to intensify them in different places. I'm gonna worry about the center. I'm just gonna worry about the outline or itself. Main buds on here. I saw my when I got my microphone today, my husband just looked at me. He's like, "You're gonna go live today, right?" I was like, "Well, I gotta test it out. How am I gonna know if it works?" So I was able to which was kind of mean of me, I think, in a way, because he was really tired. He was like dozing off, and I was like, I can cancel it if you want. If you feel tired, like I'll cancel it. Obviously, you just gotta tell me, like I'm in time. It was like 5. It was like 5:30 still. Oh no, but he kept dozing off and um sleeping. If you guys know what I mean, I can hear him sleeping, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna cancel it. And then I was about to do it, and he wakes up and he's like, no, don't do it, don't do it. And I'm like, okay, but you're about to fall asleep, like right next to me. I can't. I have a new microphone for all I know. You're gonna sound like you're beatboxing live stream. Like I'm not gonna do that. So I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Like I'm about to go live, and he's like halfway here, halfway in Timbuktu. Um, so I'm like, go sleep in the living room. So he's off into the living room. He went to go sleep over there. He's just hilarious sometimes. He makes me laugh like crazy. I think he's as nuts as I am, but he just doesn't want to admit it. I'm like, he's like, no, I'm not. But I think sometimes the craziest ones are the ones that deny it to themselves, and the ones that are sane are the ones that admit it. So I love my hubby. It takes a long time to get to a point where you can actually feel like you're at peace. Trials and tribulations. a lot of getting to know each other, and that doesn't happen right away. A year doesn't happen in 2 years. It literally takes a long time. It takes hard work and dedication. And, true listening to one another to get to a point where you actually can say, okay, I know you, know somebody. You think you do, but you never really do. Which is why it's always so shocking, I guess, when they do things that are not that don't feel good. Like, how can you do this? Like that? No, you never really know somebody. It takes a long time. Me and him have been together for about 20 years, give or take. A lot of observing, a lot of studying, and I think he's done the same. Where everything on my sleeve, like you can see off the gate, like I tell you how I feel, I tell you what I like, what I don't like, and I'm always honest. So I don't like it. I'm gonna tell you, you hurt me. So I think he learned very quick that on me than it was for me to get to know him. So he's worked around all my quirkiness, and now we have staying power. But and you have to be willing. You have to be willing. You have to want to. 'Cause I think that's how a lot of people fall out of love with each other. Is because they stop trying. They thought that but for the most part, it's almost like they stop investing the true time because it's not about spending every day with each other. It's not about waking up every single day looking at the person's face. It's not about that at all. Because you can be in the same room with somebody and be completely absent-minded. So I think a lot of people check out early, and that's the reason why relationships sometimes don't last. Observing, they stop truly listening, wanting to listen. They thought that they already had it in the bag. You never really have it in the bag. And even if you did, you would never know. You can never stop trying. You could never stop giving that time. Started, we used to do this thing where we had to have an argument every single month. It's the craziest thing in the world. But you know how when you're angry, you say the truth about how you feel? Like a fight with him once a month. Like, let it out. Like, whatever he was holding for weeks. Because they accumulate stuff. We accumulate stuff. You know how that goes. Live life in peace. So you try not to start arguments. You try not to start none of that. Forget that. I'm gonna fight with you today. So I would literally pick fights with him about the dumbest stuff just to get him to like vent and so that I can vent too. And every month we would have an argument. After that argument, like everything would just get better. Like whatever it is that we was doing to irritate each other, we literally actually understood that it was irritating or whatever it was. At it to try to like change those little things or at least adjust the behavior that causes we're not getting on each other's nerves. I used to tell him all the time, like, do you really think I'm gonna be with you for 100 years and you're gonna be annoying the hell out of me? Like, hell no. Together, or we let it go. This is probably TMI, but like how you make it to a certain place in life, years, and how hard it can be. It doesn't have to be that hard to the trade. And I'm not saying I've mastered them all. Really know somebody 100%, but watching and observing and just seeing what other people go through, I've learned little shortcuts here to there on just how to avoid things on them and as opposed to running from them, how to run towards them so that you can address them and done with. Why hold on to something and just drag it on for years? That's poison. That's beautiful. That was the best makeup part, Liz, Miss Nosy. But I didn't do it for those reasons. No, the soul. Honestly, it was honestly to cleanse the soul. And it got to a point where we didn't have to argue. We would just have, let's have a meeting. And I would tell them, okay, this is how I feel about this, that, and the third. And, you know, some things you can't change about a person no matter what you do. Um, but other things are habits that can be broken. What about do you want to break the habit? That, you guys, so bear with me. Um, do today, so I didn't pre-cut anything. But I normally don't pre-cut stuff anyway. Even when I try, it still take forever. So you guys know how that goes. But it really, like I said, it just takes wanting to take it to a certain level. I was never the one to want to have 1,000 boyfriends. Like, granted, with a few in my younger years, and I tried it, and you always hope for the one to be the one, right? First crush when you're like in elementary school to high school, college, how many ever there is, you're always hoping for the one that you find to be the one. Your energies don't mesh well. Sometimes you're just not meant to be, but a part of that person's life and not their life. Sometimes people are brought into your life so that you can learn from them, so that you can grow from them, and that is their sole and only purpose. Okay, and accept those things instead of fighting it. I deal with a lot of people, i.e., like friends and stuff like that. Just throughout the years that hold on to somebody who's not worth holding on to. Love is love, and you fight for love, and you always want to fight for love. You can fight for it, but do not become a slave to it, friends. If it is no longer enjoyable, if you spend more time upset, then that is a situation to analyze. Because only you should be able to dictate how you feel. Control about that. Granted, people can make you mad. People get upset over what other people do all the time. A point where you just live enslaved to this feeling of dread and just the sorrow and all of these, regrets, and your life becomes more about hoping and wishing than actually having, you know, that's not healthy. Days turn to weeks, weeks turn to years. Your whole life is gone. I don't think, you know, it's worth that kind of a sacrifice. Able to still go out there and find that happiness. So I always tell my friends, fight for it while you can. Become a slave to it. If it gets to the point where you're just working at it on your own and nobody's really putting in their 2 cents, you're not working together. You can only do that but for so long. And sometimes you don't know what you have until it's no longer there. So that's just, a little bit of extra. Bye, Nada. Thanks for stopping by, darling. So, you know, let me know if I'm going a little bit too deep or topic that you guys would like to hear. But I think we all go through one level of this at one point or the other, right? Until you make you stronger. And every day has new opportunities. You encounter new people every day. World, you're out there moving about. Um, Possibilities, something that is constantly in motion, is constantly being written, right? Where you're destined to end up at, because it's something that is you're like I know that some people like to say that, whatever it is that you're destined to be, whatever it is that you're gonna be, that's something that's already pre-written, so on and so forth. Okay, fine. I can kind of see that in a way. On the same level, it's almost like the choices. You have choices that you gotta make. And those choices are really what lead you to what your destiny, what your outcome becomes. I don't know. I just think that people just have to be loving themselves enough not to live in pain, to choose not to live in pain. But you have to love yourself enough. And I love the heck out of myself, you guys. I'm not vain, but I love the heck out of myself. I love myself enough not to allow myself to suffer. I can control. You guys have to do the same. Okay, Teresa. Well, sorry, Deb. It got me thinking. And I'm just like, I would talk to anybody. So, who I am. And I guess this is why people are always coming to me to kind of talk to me about all their different situations, because I'm minded enough to understand where you're coming from. But at the same time, I'm also open minded enough to understand where they're coming from, sides of the story. And I can find a happy medium somewhere in the middle. Because it does take two to tango. You can dance on your own, granted. So much better to dance with somebody. Get to where I am now, and at least to the understanding uh, of where I am now by being like, blanket in space, if you will. Listen, I I listen to him, listen to me, and if love is really there, then whatever needs to be done will be done, and you guys will evolve. That you guys can tell me that anybody that's been with another person is exactly the same after being X amount of years. No, we're constantly evolving from when we're born to adult, mature, relationships, or immature adult relationships in my case. Um, very similar. We're both very immature. Um, he loves to laugh. I love to make him laugh. He loves to make me laugh. Like that's just how we are. There's another also very important part of a healthy relationship with the person. Peeve, if I could say that that's a pet peeve, is that he's not much of a dancer. I love to dance. Other than that, I'm one happy camper. We've survived the trials and tribulations. Surviving, right? Because our story's not ended yet. So, moving right along, now that I have cut out my masks back into the crafty side of things, and entertain so that I could cut these things out and not focus so much on them that I cut them in half. So I have my little masks here. I got four on one, four of the other. So I got that part down. Let me get some watercolor paper so that I can cut that down to size. I'm gonna get my card base, cut and score that down to size, and then we're gonna begin. And mostly, what's gonna be happening here now is just a lot of stamping, a lot of figuring out how I'm gonna place these things, and then later on, I might go ahead and cut out. And I'm using my Global Art watercolor paper for this because it's readily available. Um, it's cardstock base. It's very heavy. So this will work. Hi, Patricia. Hi, Janice. Hi, Tanya. No, I like to think of myself as a friend before anything. And a true friend always listens with their ears, but also with their heart and also with their mind. You cannot just let things flow like air from one end to the other end. It's not a funnel system. Right? It's not just for the flow of air. Like you have to really observe and listen and take in the information. Beginning, being immature, I didn't listen well. I wanted things my way. To sacrifice, compromise, meet somebody halfway. I wasn't willing to do any of that. But that was my dilemma. And vice versa, I think he was also in the state of mind where, as the man, it's like this way, that way. Like, no, that's not how I am. So pebbles, we're just gonna keep banging into each other. Like, no, it's not gonna work like that. So we have to find a way that we can both respect each other's thoughts, visions, opinions, so on and so forth, and allow our relationship to still continue to grow. I said it takes time. It's not a 1, 2, 3 overnight type of situation. It does take time. Going through what I've gone through in life before him, with him, has allowed me now to be able to a better mother, a better person in general. Help me to learn how to listen better. Uh, you know, be more compassionate, I guess, flexible, um, and not be so stern. Somebody that I wanted things the way I wanted them. I was very manly in that way. I still can be somewhat demanding, but well, no, it can happen. I can accept that. For me, I don't get stuck, which I think is also very important. So, next therapy, let's talk about how the evil. Okay. Bachatea una más, oye la otra. So, you know, in-laws is another topic altogether. My mother is like me, very cool. It's funny how that happens because my mom was a kind of stick and go kind of relationship throughout my whole life. Um, to see how she is with other people like gets me so irked. Like I'm like, why you couldn't be like that with me when I was young, as I was growing up. But she's actually very, very cool. Very loose. She's like a typical Dominican mother in a sense. She's very cool, very laid back. She's very like nonchalant, like it's all right, no te preocupes, like everything is fine. No te preocupes. To hers, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. Now she doesn't worry about nothing. Before she used to be frantic. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. Yes, darling. Oye la otra. So so my measurement is gonna be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So let me just go ahead and get this. And you guys don't know what I did, right? So somebody on YouTube use their trimmer to magnets. Don't do that. Do not do that. I repeat, do not do that because I lost a whole blade because of it. Literally, it made it almost flush. So now I need to buy a new blade. It made it it made it flush, so I only have one. I was like, what? But I mean, granted, I went through like a whole mess of. So that's a lot of magnet to go through. And not only did I cut it into sections, then I cut each section into halves. So I did a lot of cutting. What the heck? I was so mad. So my panel, let me do this first. For this baby. My paper needs to be by 5 1/2. So 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. I'm still trying to figure this dang thing out. Like this trimmer, it gives me, bro. Every time I gotta use it. Ancla y correa. What? Y mira, muchacha. My mom had this bad habit, guys. This is like so hilarious. My mom had this bad habit of, and she would be pissed off. We had the buzzard. You know how you ring the bell? I mean, I don't know how many of you guys probably had intercoms in your buildings, but did the whole buildings up, and we had intercom in our building. This woman, God bless her, God bless her. This woman will call me by my government fire. Damn buzzard. Half the neighborhood would hear my name, no matter where I was, for me, because my mother's yelling out my name through the buzzard and pushing the thing, and it was like, oh my god, it's so annoying. I still remember it. So 8.5. So by 5.5. Right, I don't even know. And then it says score at 4.25. So see if I'm doing this correct to Muzo. It was getting annoying. Did I do this right? Hate this trimmer. No matter how precise your measurements are, you're always a hairline or a fraction off. But I did it. Did it. And this might actually, I might need a bigger card than this. So, oh, you guys, I think I'm gonna go standard on this. 8.5 by 11, so squared at 5.5. I think I'm gonna go standard on this. I want a lot of room to play with the stamp. So that's small. I'll probably use that one for my water one. I think that one would be a good size for the water one. Um, here, but she would like call my name out. It was crazy that I wasn't like in front of the building, the window. Oh my god, call me out that window. Oh my god, and sometimes it be for the stupidest stuff, you guys. She wanted me to go to the store, like, like Lord help me. I don't know where. She was just that kind of person. Uh, and this is another thing I don't like about the fact that it's split. So if you are looking to buy yourself a scoreboard, granted, it was a good idea. Have it fold over. I think what I would have done differently would have been something completely different. Because this little score line where it splits in half messes up my score line every single time when I'm trying to score right in the middle at 5.5. What happened that it's right, it goes off to the side. Start it off and then I just find another spot and then just do that, because I don't know if you guys can see that, but it kind of wobbles out and then it jumps into another line because of that stupid line. It's just the worst. That's that. I'll probably use this one to cover it up since it's got that. And look, even with that, I still have. I can't. So yeah, that though, you know. If it wasn't because she was nuts, I probably wouldn't be as nuts as I am now. But at the same time, if it would not have been for the things that I went through, wow, the way that I was raised up, I'd probably be a completely different person. Probably less soulless. Well, not less soulless, more soulless, I should say. It's that easy. And this is okay, going little spots here. Doo-doo-doo. I guess in some ways or the other, we all go through our level of hardships. It's always one or the other, right? It's either the mom or the dad. It's always somebody. So I tell you. But I gotta be grateful because of the way that it was when I was growing up. I've chosen so differently. Oh, you hear the crunch on this thing? like it's the dang blade. Punched through here, boy, like it was bulldozing gravel. Just messing up my whole flow. Chunks of paper. All in the groove. I don't know, but I think that they should recall this and give my money back. Because this thing sucks. Alright, so I have here. Me no like it. And then other times it slides like butter, I swear. This thing is bipolar. Either that or it hears what I'm saying about it and it's getting baggy. So I got my panel. Pretty much it's gonna be like that. Well, like this. And I might round off the corners after I'm done, but I want to get this show on the road. And one more card with you guys. It's already 7:30. I know where your children are. I see crafter, you guys. Cards always get stained. Well, they always get stained. That suck at it. So let me just get something. So this is gonna be the panel of my card, and I'm gonna actually need my tool just for the biggest image on this card, and then I'm gonna do the rest of them using the ink block. So I might actually do that for this next, because I'm thinking about buying another 5 foot roll of magnet, because for 15 bucks I think it's cheaper for me than buying or buying the one that's $3 or $6 for like three. Granted, you get 18 inches of a deal overall, but I think it's more narrower. Um, and to get 12 inches by 5 feet for like 15 bucks free shipping, I think that's pretty decent. Um, what I'm gonna do is get another roll, and if I do, I'm probably gonna make this upgrade it to Corky 3.0 because you guys know this is Corky 2.0 right here. Corky 3.0, and let me just make sure I got all the ink off of here before I lay the stamp down, so that I even see. I would have messed the card up before I even started. Um, and I'm just gonna give myself a little matting on this thing here. I can use some little what you call those things? You guys don't know what the heck I'm doing. You probably think I'm throwing up gang signs. Um, thingamabobs. Um, things. Something metal round with a little hole in the center. Go ahead and let me see if this is leveled. And just add some little metal stuff on it. So somewhere midpoint there, some kind of table or something on that I can. Um, that. So let me just undo this. Wow, Tanya. That's crazy right there. Now my on a whole different level. This lady would literally buy figurines from like any of those little stores that sell like those little figurines. At this table in the living room, which was filled up with all these little figurines. Every time that she would get mad at me, those figurines would start flying. Flying here, flying there, glass everywhere. Mad at me because my brothers cut their feet. Like, hello, who was the one flinging glass all over the house? Like, it wasn't me, it was you. Well, but yeah, only to buy them all over again, like ammo, reload, and start busting caps all over again. I'm so happy that these are different times, at least for most of us, because I know some of us people might have it rougher as far as being brought up than what I have. For the most part, she was this, that, and the third, but she was also a good mom. So at least, right? But again, to do. Happy that I'm in a place now with her that it's just like, okay, I love you. You can come and visit me. Although I still want her to go home so bad, but we can be together for a while, and I'll miss her to death. Like I'll be like, when you coming over? I'll literally harass the hell out of her. Like when you coming? When you coming? When you coming? But then sometimes she brings suitcases, and I'm like, okay, what the hell's that about? So you keep eyeing them combos. I know. A reward if I do this right. So I'll bust the combo after. Um, so it takes a long time. I literally had to like let her know like, okay, I felt like this, I felt like this. Like I said, it takes talking, and I learned that from actually being in the relationship that I'm in. On one side, I was like, okay, time to bring the knowledge over to the other side. Let's enter into the darkness. That, but honestly, we're a lot better now. For a bit. Um, so it worked out at the end, thankfully. And I learned from everything I went through, so I can still find the good even in the bad. Laugh at it, like, remember when you did this? And I'm like, yeah, ha 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 ha. Oh, you guys, I'm so crazy. But yeah, they're memories now. Oh, like it's so crazy. I remember one time, oh my God, when I was young, I wanted to go outside. So, I look for half the stuff that happened to me. I'm not gonna lie. I might not have been the easiest child to deal with. I was rebellious, as most, teenagers are. When you enter into that stage where you want to hang out and you like somebody and so on and so forth, you don't necessarily want to listen to mom, and you definitely don't want to clean the house. You definitely don't want to sweep and mop and do everything. And I'm the only girl in the house, so I had a lot of stuff to do. Um, the oldest too, so that didn't help. So for the most part, one time go clean, my room. And I was mad. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna clean it. So I wanted to go outside because they had the pump open downstairs. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the fire hydrant being open and just everybody getting, splashed down with the fire hydrant. That was like my best thing. That was like my favorite thing to do during the summer. Was go downstairs and get splashed. And went ahead and I put all the garbage under the bed. And I mean all the garbage under the bed. I swept the whole entire house and I put all the garbage under one bed that you can see from a mile away. She went out and she came back and she was like, "You finished cleaning?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, go." So I go downstairs. The next thing I know, I hear the buzzer. Dun, dun, dun. It just so happened that my brother to change, and my mama had found where I had stashed all the garbage, and it just so happened that there was a 2 liter bottle that was under, and my brother had come up right behind me. I told you guys my mom liked to throw things. The 2 liter bottle at me. I was quick, so I ducked. I ducked real quick, but guess who didn't duck? My brother. I hit in the head with the 2 liter bottle. Now you would think a 2 liter bottle doesn't hurt. Yeah, it hurts when it hits you with the cap. And so she cut him. Was I in trouble? I was grounded for like I don't even know how long. I was so grounded. I was fuming mad. So mad, and then he's her favorite. Still to this day, he's her favorite. So she's like, "You hit him in the head." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Because as far as I recall, you hit him in the head, not me. So, yeah, but it was all my fault. All along, all she was trying to do was train me how to be a good wife, how to keep a clean home, how to spoil my fun. But yeah, I thought she was being a little player hater on the side. But she wasn't. She was just trying to train me like a good mother's supposed to train her daughter. My brother still has the scar. It looks like an L. So it's a little scar now, but yeah. So I tell my daughter, listen to me when I talk to you. Keep the troubles of the past. Yeah, the things that happen. What you gonna do, right? You could only let them make you stronger. All things are easily forgivable, but not that bad. To understand that they didn't know any better. Definitely, you know. I forgot to cut one thing out. And spice and everything nice. Here it is. Cut around this thing real quick. I'm storytelling then crafting. I do apologize, you guys. Sometimes my mouth just kind of gets away from me. And once I start going down memory lane, that's so hard to get off that street. Oh, my little sister. I don't know. It's red too, or it's pink, something. I don't know. Oh, well. Here. All right, let me just try to go around this thing real quick. So, yeah. All right. This is going to be like the choppiest thing I'm going to do real quick because I am not going to be perfect in fuzzy cutting this thing out the gate because I am using a kindergarten cutting scissor. It's already getting into all the grooves I don't want it to go to. So my whole thing is just to kind of go around this so that I at least have something to cover up, you know. So I'm not trying to fuzzy cut the whole thing out. I just wanted to kind of to this part here, protect this cup, number one, number two. Um, the other stamps as I start going through all of the different pieces. So this here, and I'm gonna go ahead and just get myself a little bit of washi tape, a washi tape that is not gonna rip your paper, you guys. It's gotta be one of these um really thinly washi tapes. And hopefully, I'm saying that to you guys because I'm hoping it doesn't happen to me, but it's something that is not gonna rip your paper to a million pieces, right? And I'm just gonna kind of so just so that it's not dancing all over the place. And then I'm gonna start with my first stamp if I can find my inking block. And where's my stamp set? Right here. So trying to figure out how I'm gonna do this. Maybe I can put it like on a bed of, and this is another thing that you can use the masking for, is to kind of see where where you want to lay your stamps at. Overdo things. That's just something that I struggle with, and it looks kind of crazy for a whole bunch of um, flowers to be coming out of the one cup. So maybe I can do it so that they're like coming off the edges. I'm trying to find out where I'm gonna place these first. Kind of going crazy. There's a little stem right there, so I can actually use that little stem right there. Built up. a little stem right there that I can use. And and take this off real quick and snap my other little stamp right there. Because there's a little stem right there that I can kind of use. So even though those are poppies, these are roses. I probably need my rose stem, not so much my poppy stem. But you know what? I'm gonna leave my poppy stem because you can have more than one flower inside of the cup. You could use post-it notes too. If especially if you fuzzy cut and you leave some of the sticky stuff on the post-it note, you could definitely use post-it notes for this kind of process. Okay. I'm just gonna curve this out a little bit like it wants to. Um, I'm trying not to have it that leave too much. Ah, perfect. Woo woo flower. And then you just pretty much put your masking stuff on it. I'm trying to see this. I really like how this is looking, but I'm trying to see if maybe I can. Yeah, right there. Stamp over here. Because there's only one true stem that you can see in this glass. So I'm trying to make it so. I should have cut out that leaf. That's what I did the last time. Do I have my leaves. They're right here. Maybe I can use one of these to kind of mask that off. So that works. Okay. And get this right over here. So now you guys see more or less how by covering it up now it looks like that flower. So you're not double stamping lines more or less. So it allows it to look like, you know, things are in the background, things are in the foreground. Um, Shading or darkness to these kind of areas here so that it looks like over the other, making your page look more dimensional by doing that. Okay. Go into this with a rose one. And so I'm going to go ahead and mask this off. I'm going to go ahead and mask this part off. Right. Mask those two things off. And then I'm going to go in with the rose stamp. And I don't know how intricate I'm going to make this because, again, make it look like a bouquet coming out of a glass. I don't know how real that will look or how good that will look with the glass. So that's just my nature to exaggerate. When I create, I always larger. Um, you know, that's just who I be. I can't help that part. So, I mean, I can help it. I'm trying to learn to simplify things, but it's not working too well. is not working too well. So now I've masked off this section and this section. See that the rose is now behind this. Now, granted, it looks like a floating rose, but know where it's coming from. And I think that's part of the problem. They don't know where it's coming from. So using my masking again there, part here. So now I added this rose here. So now I'm gonna go ahead and mask that. I'm trying to see. See what I mean? Once you start stamping and layering, and the more you layer, the more you layer, and the more you stamp over your image, the harder it becomes which shape is what and where things are kind of going. Just be aware of that. So I just try to find the one clear spot that doesn't have any inking on it, and I try to kind of go from there. Those, and I'm gonna kind of have it leaning that way, even though this one's kind of leaning that way. Because it's like I'm sending you flowers because the one you have was dying. So that's where I'm going with it. I think it's called masking. Um, masking and stamping. It's almost the same thing like when you do stenciling and you mask the stencil. So this is pretty much masking. This is the style. Well, you know, the technique, if you will, is masking. About an image, you cut it out, and then you use that cutout to pretty much to stamp in different areas without overlaying your lines as you're stamping. Job, Liz. You're doing very well, my friend. I needed somebody to kind of ask me questions and get me trying to explain things. Was like, I was doing it, but I don't know anything about what you're doing. So I was like, yeah, I know. He was gonna do it just to kind of read, the statements and the questions, and that way I can answer them. But you can see that my lines, for the most part, look very clean. Um, laying each other, you can see each stamp individually. So that's pretty much what you want. And I think I'm gonna add pretty good right there. What do you guys think? So that I can get on to the next one. That's pretty decent right there. Can you guys see it well? Let me see if I need to focus it a little bit. So you guys can pretty much see like how clear it is. I have to work on this lighting, you guys. But, so I have the two flowers that are off here to the side that are kind of bolting away, and then I have the little group of all the other ones that are there. And then I'll save these little bag, and I'll save these. I'll attach this to the stamp set itself. If they're not too badly beaten up, because you can make these very easily. So if they're not too badly beaten up, then I'll save these. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna save two of the ones that I haven't used, um, in any way, shape, or form. And I'm gonna use these, and I'm gonna color these, and I'm probably gonna add a little bit of a dimension on one of them just to make it pop out. And I will do the same probably on this one. So tuck one in or tuck one in and tuck one in. I don't know. Maybe the one is all it needs to just give it that little level of, if you will. Let me get back to, um, well, it's very easy. As long as you have a surface that you can cut, obviously if you're doing filigree or one of those flourishes. Those are really, really hard to mask. Faces, or if you're doing, anything that has any kind of, ample enough shape that you can cut around it. You don't have to cut the individual sections in the stamp. You just have to cut the basic shape of the stamp so that you can put it there. And that's pretty much that. And you can use the masking pretty much for anything. So we got that going, and I'm thinking if I should just stamp that into some watercolor. I think I'm gonna do that. That into some watercolor and use it off the watercolors, and I'll just save these masks for using on another project or any other cards that I make moving forward. And then we'll do that. Now we can go ahead and move into watercoloring. And then what I'm gonna do actually, watercoloring part of is that I'm going to, um, I don't have to do it now. I could do it after. Yeah, I'll do it after. Color this whole thing out, and then I'm gonna cut out the little label, and then the little sentiment stamp about sending flowers. I'm gonna put it up here somewhere because I can't emboss from my room. So that's that, and then let me see if I can find some kind of cute ribbon or lace or something that I can tie around the bottom of this card. Play. Let me see if I can get fancy with it. Yeah. And then we'll move forward. Okay. On this one, it's like a sage kind of color. I think that's what you call it. That to kind of wrap around the card. And now I'm just gonna watercolor this whole thing and get that going. Before I watercolor the background, I'm gonna stamp some script into it, just in different places. Background is not so plain. Actually, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna do that. I was gonna give it like that wood grain, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna use my watercolor for now. This thing I could do, and hot mess, but it's okay. These are cheap pack of brushes from Royal and Langton that I bought from eBay. $5 for the whole pack. It was very cheap. But it's just wetting my brush and gray bottle. I don't need the dimensions anymore. Okay. So we're gonna put this over here. I don't need the background for now so that I don't dirty that, even though I know that's probably inevitable. And so, um, thinking of a baby blue. I'm thinking baby blue for one of the roses. I want to keep them kind of odd colored. I'm thinking, well, you know what? I'm gonna do the cup since I want to use baby blue. I'm gonna use the cup. So pretty much what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the outside edges of the cup. So if you guys can see that, I'm gonna edges of the cup brush, move it so that it's clearer. And there's leaves in there from what I can tell. There's something in there. So um, I'm gonna go ahead and lightly, very lightly, add some of that green in there because it's gonna reflect. So add a little bit of that green in there. And I'm gonna add a little bit of the green in the bottom, reflect some kind of light, right? So usually when you get a drink, you'll notice that there's some kind of light somewhere in there that's reflecting the colors towards the bottom. So then I'm just gonna go back into it again with the blue, a little bit more, tighten that a little bit more. Now that's just the way I'm doing it again. I don't claim to know about what I am doing. I just do it. Use a different paper for coloring with alcohol markers versus watercolor. Yes. The reason I'm going to tell you that real quick is because if you use alcohol markers on watercolor paper, absorb it, you're going to dry out your markers. It'll literally pull all the ink right out. A couple of paintings or a couple of pictures that you color in, and you're done. Use it for water soluble markers, watercolor paper, no problem. All markers, I learned that the hard way. It literally drains it out really, really quickly. Kind of intensifying a little bit on the top where this water is kind of coming down on. And I have my little hints of green in there, but it's not so overpowering. And then whatever the background is going to be on the top of this glass somehow, some way. Make that blue lighter. It doesn't have to be so dark, but for now, isn't it pretty? You can't beat it for $1.59. Tell me where here in the U.S. you're gonna get a stamp like that for $1.59. Say nowhere. A lot of colors going on in this palette because I was playing with it yesterday. In my center area first, I'm gonna rinse the brush out and then just move that color around so that it is not so. Need more water to do that, Carmen. Um, gets lighter towards the edges, but somehow a little bit darker in the center. Watercoloring is definitely one of those things that I would love to learn how to do on a more professional level. Painting in acrylic at all. What happened? I love that. Yeah, you're right. Liz, more like 15 and change here. This is the good and the bad about us buying the way we buy from like places like eBay, us, you know, it's it's a tough one because if things wasn't so expensive here, very happily, uh, you know, buy it. Okay, pásame un napkin. Okay, eating him. One second, you guys. So now let's get into some of these flowers. Any suggestions on the flower combination? You guys know I am open. Now I'm gonna go in with some of this green into this like brownish mud color that I got going on over here so that I can add them to the stems. Just letting that if your water is too if your brush is too wet, just a little napkin absorb some of that color that's in there. some of that water. Color is one of those things that's very forgiving, which is why I want to get into, because you don't have to worry so much about lines. Um, Orange, go fruity pebbles on it. Ooh, that sounds cute. Okay. Like I was saying, watercolor is one of those things that's very forgiving. Unlike acrylic painting, when you paint something in acrylic, it's really hard to just dry and paint over it. But watercolors, it's okay if you go outside of the line. It just adds of the painting that you are kind of drawing in there. The bad thing is that I bought this paint set and I do not know what the colors are on it. So specific names about what I am using, I cannot tell you. It is a trade secret. I have no idea. I'm trying to see what any of the leaves are. It's a very cute stamp, but it's very hard to see the petal. So, yeah. All right. So we're gonna have some orange. So the poppy seeds, orange. Is that what it's called? Poppy seeds. Um, so orange on the poppy seeds. But you don't have to worry so much about lines. I'm not worried about lines. Go into with a darker hue and just add the shadowing in between those lines. See what I'm actually painting for right now. And then I can just build on that once it's all done. So kind of painting like if I was using um, a coloring pencil. So again, I'm not the channel to get technical information on as far as hold it this way, dab it this way. That is not what I do. I have fun. I just paint for the love of painting and just get it on there. Okay. All right, so that's there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and darken that color up a little bit. And to darken up this color, I'm gonna get some purple. And I only have this one little color of purple. So I'm gonna mix that purple and that orange kind of together. Add a little bit to get more of that orange in there. Orangey. And obviously you know that if a petal is like in the background, it's gonna be a little darker. Uh, so any of the edges, petals that are they look like one is on top of the other, those are obviously gonna be a little bit on the darker, darker tone than the other ones. No negative spaces. Yeah, thank God for that. Good riddance. Um, so I just pretty much like tapping it in. Like I'll just let it just catch wherever it's gonna catch. Spaces and dark spaces, if you will. A little bit away from me, then I'll just add a little bit of water and try to pick some of that color up. And that's another thing I like about watercolor. Unlike acrylic, watercolor you can just add a little bit of water and that whole thing right up. Really too much about it. Anywhere where I see an outer kind of lip, I am going to bit of a different tone there. Yellow. A poppy seed has yellow in the center. I have no idea reference, but so hopefully I'm doing this okay. Half of the reason why I don't know what the names of things are is because I don't know half of what things really look like. So it's my dark little secret. So we have that one, and the color's not too vibrant, but I'm fine with that. Pink, we pink. Get a pink out of here. Let's see. We got a little bit of pink clear up one of my boxes. Some red and white in here. Let me get this red right here. Let's get some of that red. And it looks kind of pinkish on its own. But you can also make watercolors out of acrylic just by watering it down, right? Color set. Don't feel like, oh my god, I can't paint in watercolors. I gotta go get myself a watercolor set. Thinking, but the reality is that you really don't need it. You are fine with watering down your acrylics if that's what you have. Thanks, darling. Can you guys see it well? I keep thinking for some reason that it's not focusing, or that you guys can't see it. Too, I use watercolor markers. You guys see me all the time. Water soluble markers. The rose, I'm gonna use the rose for this, the pink for this rose right here. Very odd kind of thing because again, the petals and everything is just like all over the place. Kind of hard to see like what's what and what's not what. So I'm gonna try to so that at least hopefully it'll separate uh, the other one for me. It'll separate from the other one. So hopefully I can do a better job of seeing what is a petal. That might actually be a leaf. So it's okay though. Because I'll just go over with some green. A bit of this and just kind of bring that in here and darken that up a little bit. I don't know anything about complementary colors. I'm starting now to learn about shadows. So that just goes to show you where I am on the spectrum. I'm starting to learn now about shadows, and I think in a way is more important than the color spectrum because you can use shadow in white and black or color. So if you can learn where shadows go, then once you know your color theories or whatever you call it, pretty much figure out the rest. But it's a lot harder to figure out where to put that shadow. More of that red. It's just a little bit darker. I am taking a quick break to watch you color. Sounds awesome, darling. I'm thinking I try to put the at least the shadow of things, even though I know that the thing is kind of falling down. Um, I'm gonna add a little bit of shadow to the top and then just underneath some of the petals as they're going down. And I'm gonna go into this green now and just add a little bit of green here and there. This green is like 15 colors put together. Soak up some of that water so that I'm not dripping the other colors. A little bit of dry brushing into that. Now I added a little bit of that green in different spaces, only because I needed to darken that up just a little bit more now and turn that into something a little bit, just more of a shadow over it again with the original color. So hopefully it looks somewhat dimensional. I know I probably didn't achieve it all the way through and through, but on to the next one. You should, girl. So we have pink, yellow, and red. I heard. Carmen, get lost in thought again. I like hearing how deep your mind goes. No, no, that was enough therapy for one day. But feel free to suggest topics, and I will more dive into my thought process on certain things. As long as we don't get too deep on the religious or the political side, because I don't want to offend anybody, to go on whatever you would like. You guys already know my stance for the most part, but yeah, I would just say I'm not the happiest with my government and keep it like that. Darling, we'll leave those as is. Only thing that matters is that I am a firm believer in God. Like a really deep, but I'm kind of dry brushing it. I don't want to wet it too much because I want the color to stay nice and rich. It's like a blood red almost. Go into this one over here. This rose over here. Um, but I'm thinking I'm gonna use a smaller brush. I'm gonna see if I can find a really thin one. Yeah, that one looks good. Let's see how thin I can go. Tapping the towel so that it doesn't overwhelm my paper, and I can have a little bit more control as far as where the colors go. Drew a line on the paper already. Pick that up with a little bit of water later. But I definitely don't mind, going into different subjects as long as it's stuff that you guys want to talk about. I'm cool. Not easy to. Um, it's not like other flowers where it's like the basic shape, this and that. No, this thing has the levels of uncurling, curling, and all these little ridges. Be darker than the next, and oh Lord. time. See, I always try to bite off more than I can chew. And my glasses today are not helping me. Most of this rose here actually is just a lot of lippage. Lippage, which is it rolled over, the petal kind of rolled over to the like a bottom lip. um, so it's really hard to see like what's a lip at this point in time and what is actually part of the outside of the flowers. Let's see. My cat is wheezing and snoring across the room. That's too funny, Deb. Um, okay. Well, it took to actually try to quiet my mind. Meditation. Now, I don't do meditation like probably the conventional person does meditation. To be meditation is actually taking some time out of your day, be it 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or you can spare. Um, and just literally just like not thinking about bills, not thinking about problems, not thinking about anything. Taking a nap, because it's not taking a nap. Taking a nap is not meditation. That's just taking a nap. But literally, kind of like closing your eyes and just envision yourself, be it that you're sitting by a beach, sitting in a park, or your favorite place to be in the whole wide world, um, and wherever it is that you want to go, closing down your mind and just like allowing your mind to kind of rest for a while. I think for me was very beneficial. It actually even helped me control my daughter's tantrums when she was little. Um, I think is when I first really started getting into it was when I started dealing with her because she was just like all over the place. I used to call her Electrica, like a lightning bolt, zoom, 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 all over the place. It used to drive me crazy. So I used to put her, I used to sit her down and I used to hold her legs down. And I don't mean hold her legs down like enslavement type thing. I used to cross her legs Indian style and then just put my legs over her legs, obviously. And then I used to open up her arms. I used to extend her arms, tell her to like close her eyes and just say, like wusa or just stay relaxed or just breathe in and then breathe out slowly and literally get her to calm down. Um, I was able to watch TV or get back to her activities. Hated it at first. I think by the fifth or the sixth time, or like maybe a week and a half of me doing it, no longer me having to make her do it. It was her actually saying, "Come on, mom, let's do this." And she got herself to a point where she was able to control herself when she felt like her energy was just too crazy. Like bring it down. And even when like in anxious, she's 16 now. This was I'm talking about when she was like 2 or 3. And situations where she's she becomes very anxious because she's kind of shy. She's kind of shy, mind that, kind of shy. She just doesn't like big crowds. She doesn't like to bump into people. She tries to avoid conflict, and that's what I mean by shy. Meanwhile, I'm the kind of person that if people don't move, I move through them. She's the very opposite of that situation. So it helped her to kind of deal with and get herself in a very, and it pretty much does the same thing for me. So whenever I feel like I'm really stressed out about something, as opposed to fighting over it or trying to break my head trying to figure out a solution, like I will literally stop that. I will take the time out and just like come up with a solution. So I have to clear my mind in order to remove all the garbage, right? You have to get all of that, all of the cookies and the cachet out of your brain. So all of that extra useless clutter of a million and one thoughts rushing through your head, you have to remove that. Your mind at peace, and if your mind is at peace, then your body's at peace. And once your body's at peace and the two are connected, then everything kind of just flows better. That and I made a point, like I said before, I always say this all the time that I make a point to always try to wake up, laugh, laugh at anything, laugh at anything, say the dumbest thing, just something that is funny, something that'll make him laugh, something that'll make me laugh, and he'll do the same thing. Um, whatever it is, and just find that that one thing, um, and do it. And for the most part, we do the same thing with our kids. When we wake them up in the morning, or when they wake up, the first thing that we do is crack a joke about something, and we start off our day laughing. Now, granted, all the universe, and there's always somebody that's you know happens, but for the most part, it does a really good job. I mean, it helps me out. Situations, I just stop. When I notice that I'm getting like panicky, I'll just stop. Stop and just be like, okay, I gotta come at this a little different. Just a little different because I'm not getting a solution right now. So I'm not gonna break my head. That's literally what I tell. I'm not gonna break my head, and I'm just gonna just stop. So I'll find something to do that'll be something that is peaceful to me, and I'll just shut down for a few and figure it out. That's how I do it. That's what I used to do. And then the other thing that worked for me with her, because we're really calm. My son, as you guys know, he was born with certain issues. So his mobility was very limited from even when he was born. His twin sister was fine, and she was pretty much the one always instigating and harassing him and trying to get him to do this and to do that, because she saw him as normal. Because honestly, you see him on the outside and you can never tell that he's got so many things going on the inside. So she was always the one to this, that, and the third. But overall, she was also very calm. I will say that. Um, she was also very calm. One that drove me up the wall was my youngest one, because you know how the youngest ones are always the most spoiled because they're the last ones. So she was extremely spoiled and angel. She could do no wrong in that man's eyes. She got away with murder with him, not with me. But what happened is that because she got away with murder with him when he was at work, guess what she was giving hell to? I said, oh hell no. If you think that you're gonna make me old prematurely, oh, it's a done deal. So I told her to play it at this game, and if you want to be rambunctious, well, guess what? I want to take a nap. So it used to be a thing of it's not what you want to do, it's what we're gonna do. Um, for her to kind of like start calming down, I started, doing the whole therapy thing with her, and that's what I pretty much call it. It's like therapy. Um, Starting to get her to kind of calm down, and she started kind of like liking it, which was pretty cool. But overall, it just became a situation of, okay, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, then mommy's gonna put me in the Indian position, and I'm gonna have to say woo stop for 15 minutes. So yeah, let me calm down. So, um, but it's good that she still uses it to this day, because now she knows how to kind of tune herself out, and when she feels like life is too hectic, then she just kind of calms it all down on her own. Will save her a heck of a bill later on in life when it comes to therapy. So, um, just find what they like, and that's another thing that I did. I noticed what when it came to what she was playing and the way that she was playing, I noticed what she was interested in, what she liked. So I catered to that, but I catered to it and advanced it, if you will. So I would get her things that are specifically for that she was trying to make believe or invent. um Draw, I mean, I've always been somebody that draws, so she used to like to draw. Kind of one of her things. So I got her into I got her a drawing tablet, and I got her very own computer. And some people say that I was spoiling her, saving her, because it kept her busy. It kept her, doing what she loved to do. And that's a lot of things too. Instead of kind of pushing your kid to the side because they're like annoying, find out what they like to do and get them stuck on it. TV, help them be productive. So now my daughter, who's about to be 16, she's publishing. She's about to be a published illustrator for a school book here in the school district. And she's pretty good. She practiced enough since she was little. Okay. So for the most part, it all depends. Gear it, find out what they like to do. If they like music, get them into music. If they like to draw, get them into drawing. To those things that you see that they lean to, and that will help you. They'll want to earn more advanced levels of that you're offering to them now for free. So that's what I would do with my daughter. If she wanted a better tablet, that's what you have to do, school wise and everything else. You want a better computer, if you want more RAM, more this, more that, guess what you have to do? You have to earn them free, but you have to build the rest. You got to earn all of that. That's kind of how we did that. That's how we still do it. To get two into college now with pretty decent good grades. My oldest daughter has excellent grades. She's like a 90 something plus student for 4 years in high school, which is not easy. So one that I'm kind of her still, but it's a work in progress, and she gets all of my devoted attention. This year was just very hectic with everything else that was going on with the twins, but because I don't have nobody else to bother but her. So let's see what other color we have: pink, yellow. What else? What else are we leaning towards here? And I'm running out of time. I've done more talking than I've done. We got purple one, and see how that goes. But every kid is different, so you just some are they're visually stimulated, others are audioly stimulated, others are they got a touch and feel. So it really all depends on your kind of kid. I've been one to always really observe the things that are around me, observe the behaviors. I do a lot of observing, and I feel like I'm very in tune with my feelings and the feelings of others. So somebody's upset pretty quickly. Always want to know what's wrong. Sometimes they don't want to tell me, but I allow people their right to silence as well. I'm not pushy, but I always try to kind of listen and serve. And if ever I'm able to help, help. Advice when asked for, throw it out there for the most part. On sensitive subject, on other stuff, yeah, I'm gonna give you my 2 cents, but I know my place. You know, people live in their feelings and in their thoughts. Who am I to invade their territory? Girl, you can get that child a drawing tablet, and the programs on the computer are for free. That child drawing, literally making her own things. It's a hit. Oh, he. And you could get him pretty much involved in like creating his own stuff. And companies need advertisers. Stories of the future need to be written, cartoons of the future need to be made. Um, those things lead to other things. It's about be a doctor. It's not always about be a lawyer, because those people sometimes are miserable because they wanted to. They did it because they were told. I'm just looking at my color palette. I'm trying to figure out flower I want to make over here. Oh, into this yellow, yellow. And at the end of the day, what good is to have all the money in the world and be miserable? You could be poor and be the happiest person in the world and feel like you have it all, or have it all and feel like you're empty inside. I'd rather be poor. I'd rather be poor. Which I am poor, so and I feel like I have everything. Wish granted. Awesome, Liz. You should always encourage those kinds of things. I tell people that all the time. Whenever a child comes over to my house, the first thing that I ask him is, "What do you like to do?" Thing or the other. I mean, I have 3 kids, so they all like different things. So between all of the different things that they like, I gotta have something for somebody. And then I get them involved in what they want to do, and their mother's like, "How do you do that?" So I'm like, maybe you never listen to him, and that's the problem. Listen to your children, people. Didn't you want to be heard at one point or another in your life? Listen to your children, people. If they are old enough to talk, then hear what they gotta say. You might be surprised. My brother tells me that all the time. He's like, "How come your kids respect and this and that?" Sometimes it's a little harder for him to get the same level that I do out of mine. I don't speak to my children the way you speak to yours, maybe. Change that first, and then we'll see what follows. Because nobody wants to be spoken to like they're whatever. You know, people got feelings. Yes, it does. And coming from a place where I built up for a long time ideas and resentments and just hurt feelings behind people, be them friends or family or whatever. Once I cleansed myself, if you will, and I let all of that stuff go, and I told myself I'm not gonna allow myself to live in yesterday's shadow, because happened that day and in that time and in that feeling and in that state of mind. Um, I released myself. I didn't let them release me. I released myself. I'm like, I'm not doing it no more. That then everything else was just a little better in life. I just saw things so much more different. Allowed me the ability to kind of just live, choose to live. Forget the rest. Life is short. You cannot waste it. Um, Trying to come up with another color. I've added almost every single color in here that I could think of. Um, I have purple, maybe a purple one in here, like that purple. Mix all these colors in together and see what happens. I like them deep, rich. You just have to make choices. Choices that sometimes are not the easiest to make, but only you have the power to make them. All that other stuff is just poison. So that's all it is. And if it's not poison now, it will eventually turn into it. So don't carry it around with you. It's a waste of space and energy. We all have that higher one that we have to answer to eventually, right? I'm just kind of mixing all different colors here together now. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm glad you like it. Just putting different shades of whatever I have on this palette here. Stuff, a lot of it pretty much translates into purple anyway, or violet if you will. I have greens and all that stuff here, so I'm just adding different colors of the mixed colors to different sections of the flower, allowing it to somehow translate into shadows and lights and things. Because this stamp is very pretty and all of that good stuff. However, hard to distinguish. Again, the petals, one from the other, the inside. So on that level, it's a little hard. Okay. Oh, ya casi casi muere. So now I have another flower here. Looks like very discombobulated looking flowers. So um, I'm thinking I'm gonna go deep red, and I mean deep red. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna add green to this deep red, just a little bit of green to make that color even deeper. Learning little by little. So far, I know that for red you add green. I know that if you want to, I guess darken up a purple, you add yellow or vice versa. Obviously, I think I'm saying that properly. I'm not even sure, but fine until you get the right um into leaves. So you get the right combination. Shadow into this red part as opposed to going into with a black or a brown, the green. Just kind of go into it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It fixed it. Oh, it looks way better. You took the whole thing off. So far, so good. I think people hear me. I might have spoke too much and got a little too happy go lucky with the microphone today. Me? No, I've been there, done that. Pretty, you don't want to cut them. So my suggestion to you, pay some cut some of that paper in a size that you can use on something else, and then use the scraps to make your embellishment. Alrighty. So I got this going. And I don't know if these are petals or not, but I'm gonna turn them into that pink color that I have here. Just grab some of that white. They look like they fall off of that pink one. I'm gonna turn them into that pink one for now. And that's it so far. And it took me longer to do this than anything else because I was talking so much. Um, Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. More like just rambling than preaching. I don't want to sound like I'm preaching to nobody. For a fact, I am nowhere near perfect, and my drawings show that. Because I mess up all the time. Exactly, there you go. Exactly. Like that's usually what I'll do. Like I know that I can make, depending like what the size of the paper is, I know that I can make some, I know that either something that's 8 inches by 6 inches or whatever the case may be, or whatever, depending on what I want to cut, or 6 by 6. So I'll cut three out 6 by 6, or I'll cut one 8 by 8 by 6, and then I'll cut one 6 by 6, and then the other 6 by 6 I'll leave that for scraps. So I use 3/3 of the paper for, if I want to do anything, be it long or short, and then the other paper I use for. Let me get, because sometimes you do find that paper. Look, you guys probably can't hear me. Sometimes you do find that paper that is just so pretty. Thank you, my darling. Thank you. I'm glad you guys like it. So good. I have embossing powder all over this stamp. So I'm just gonna go in with my favorite script stamp because it's the only script stamp that I have. But it doesn't matter because I don't understand what it says anyways. I'm gonna go into it and just touch up on different spots. Matter to me the angle that the stamp goes on, if it goes on in one angle or the other. That's irrelevant to me. I don't care for that. What I will do now is I'm not gonna color the whole card. Do is I'm actually gonna create like a glow around it. Um, and how I'm gonna do that is just by watering it down. This card up. Just gonna water down my yellow, and I'm just gonna like I said, give it like a light around the whole thing. Make the glow like a little yellow. Then the color. And that way I don't have to worry so much about doing the whole entire background. Grab some more of this yellow. Make sure I mix those really well. And again, do the same right here. Put the yellow inside of my cup. coming through a yellow light than clear for the most part, even though my water is blue. But that's because I put that plant vitamin. You ever guys ever seen that? That plant vitamin puts the water blue. So that's why my water is blue. Clear. And then just paint all the colors, of the stuff because water is clear. So you get away with that. Because it matched with all the greens and just the different colors. Um, yeah. And I'm not gonna go under it. I'm just gonna go across it. Because again, I'm not trying to cover um, most of the card. I'm just trying to cover a certain part of it. And just getting it into all the white spaces. Just letting that yellow kind of shine in between all of the different cards. That's the cards. All of the I added green into it. No, I contaminated my green and my yellow. Pick that up real quick. Let's move this yellow back out there. Light. Good thing about watercolor to make it too dark, as dark as you want. And this is pretty much what I want out of this. Just there, just the glow. Just want it radiating. Do what happens. Yeah. Sneaking up behind me. And then I'm just gonna water this, keep watering this down and keep watering this down so that it gets lighter and lighter, lighter and lighter. There's nothing on the paper. It looks like there's no paint on there. And then this side I'm gonna leave the way it is. Thank you, darling. Thank you. So I just pretty much thinned out the yellow all the way on the top. It's gonna go. Run. I'm gonna round off. Yeah, I was thinking I was gonna round off these corners and get my handy dandy, my handy dandy something or the other. Corner rounder. Rock find. Dun, dun, dun. Stuff that you are looking for them. If you never find the stuff that I am looking for when I am looking for them. Dun, 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 dun. I found something that I wasn't looking for, but it'll do. Are you corner rounder? Okay, so you're not there, so you must be hiding from me. Okay, you guys, I'm trying to find my corner rounder, but if I don't find my corner rounder, I won't be able to round off my corners. So I'm trying to see what I find here that will help me to round off my corners. Not be this rough or tough. Okay, so didn't do that. Can't find it. Oh, I found it. It was right at the beginning of the drawer. See how things try to mess with you? You just gotta woosa. All right, so I'm gonna round this off. To round it, and I'm gonna distress this bit, just to distress it, and I'm gonna ink it. And I have this, and this is why I went yellow because this is green. So I'm gonna put a nice little ribbon on that. And where's my card base? It's right over here. And I mean, this is the kind of thing that if you wanted to mount it, you can mount it. So you would pretty much cut this out actually a lot smaller if you wanted to, like, you know, some matting or whatever it is that you call it. But let's see that. I have to see if I'm showing you guys properly because oh, oh, that's the wrong way. This way. There we go. Like we're just by doubling up or layering up on the color and just adding a little dash of any other color, um, can pretty much create some shadow areas there. So it makes it look like the petals are one over the other, so on and so forth. Again, this is something that I'm learning. So when I have mastered it, I will tell you guys, like, guys, I think I got it. For right now, just know, guys, I'm playing because that's all that I am doing is just playing around with different colors. And I think all artists, all great artists that eventually um kind of go and start like that. So I am going to use this is lavender, milled lavender, and I'm going to distress this paper a little bit. And since it's watercolor paper, it'll open up really nice and wide for me, therefore taking out a lot of this ink edges. And maybe I even distress it a little bit further, but maybe I won't. No, I won't. Maybe on another card, another thing. Point where I can do more than one card during a 3 hour sitting. Oh, you guys, I'm the worst. So I did my edges in this milk lavender because I didn't want the vintagey. I wanted it to still have a pop of color on there. And I was gonna do a dimensional flower on the front, but I'm not gonna do that either. I'm just gonna leave it like so. And what I might actually do is, where's my stamp? If I can find it. This is the opening of it. Yeah. So what I might actually do. No, not that. Where's the actual stamp sheet? What did I do? Where's my stamp? Oh, Louis. What did I do with my stamp? I lost it already? Did Brandy take it, sneak in and sneak out? Those are brushes. Those are combos. Oh my, where did my. If you guys see it, holler at me because I don't see it. Did I lose you guys? Let's see. Video feed over here somewhere. Or my video feed crashed. Live. I'm just letting this page load up because I think I lost you guys for a second. But I'm trying to find the stamp set. Honestly, I do not know what I do with it. Ooh, an orange butterfly. I think that would be quite pretty actually. And I'm going to use the center butterfly. In there. Check behind the combos. Okay. Let me see. Be right. No, I'm not brushes. That's a mess. I'm missing my stamps. Oh my god, I'm missing my stamps. Which one? You got one. No. I only got 30 in here. Here. All right. That's it. No more eyeballing my combos. All right. So idea's about to go out the window because I do not find my stamps. This is crazy talk. This is even happen in America. How? How do stamps just disappear? Live out of all things. Okay, I'm not gonna stress it. So sigh and let it out and just stamp it with something else because it is what it is. So I think I'm gonna add. I have a little mark that happened there, so I think there we go. I'm gonna add this little butterfly thingamabob right there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually ink up the back of this card. I didn't want to do it with this, but I don't have a choice. Yes, a success. They were inside my book. Of course they were. Couldn't they be? All right, so bye bye for the ink. Bye bye for that. This is what I'm gonna show you guys real quick. So you guys know that I did those masking things, right? So right here in these corners, go ahead and stamp this flower there. And then I'm gonna mask it with one of these. And then I'm gonna ink up these. And so what had happened was, mm-hmm, that's right, I did it. I did do it. I didn't want to do it, but I did do it. This corner here is gonna be kind of revealing what is under here. So curl that up a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a play. So when I go to glue it on, I have that little bit of play there. So I'm not gonna seal it all the way up. And what is this? And then I'm not gonna paint the whole thing white, but what I will do is actually go into some of this. Ah, ¿cuántas horas? Desde las 6, ¿qué hora son? Son las 10. Son 3 horas, amores, ¿cómo que van a hacer? Well, you guys probably can't see them too well. My ink pads are on their way out the door. See me adding the water straight to them. I let you do that if you're able to. Don't, because you're gonna mess up your distress pads that way. I don't have this color in my paint palette, which is why I did this. And I cannot go too much into water with this because it's just regular cardstock, so it'll pretty much shred to pieces. Why I did that way. So I just added a little bit of color there. Nothing too major. Um, I'm gonna define that a little bit more now. Um, I just need to get myself a water soluble marker real quick so that I can add into this. I grabbed the wrong thing. I grabbed the wrong marker. That is not my water soluble one. It is not my water soluble marker. This is a lighter color. Are any of these water soluble? Nope. Okay. I'm gonna have to separate these from water soluble to non-water soluble because all together. Together. To get off to, we're almost at that point. This is like an alcohol blender supposed to blend alcohol. How much of that is true, I do not know, but it is staying like that. And then more than that, because I need this to be really tight. And that just kind of gives it a somewhat of a different feel. It's a little bit more unique. And I'm gonna stamp out my sentiment. This all together. And where's my ribbon? Don't tell me I okay. There it is. I was like, don't tell me I lost my trying to find my stamp. I'm gonna grab a little bit of this, and I'm not gonna make a bow. All I want to do is place it right under here, wrap it around the back. So what I'm gonna do is just get some double-sided tape. kind of put that like so. And hopefully this is more than what I need. Some of that to some of this. So it almost looks like the card is like lifting up off of the page, but the reality is that it's not. Liz, you gotta give him that. So I'm not gonna worry too much about the corners per se. I'm gonna add the glue everywhere. But other than that, I'm gonna allow these corners to be lifted up ever so slightly with this one being all the way lifted up. It's just a very kind of over here looking kind of card. A little peekaboo spot, and I might even trim some of that. Kind of expose that a little bit. So that is a very odd card. Yes, just 5 more minutes. We are going to be, and it's all ripply, and it's all distressed in the bottom. So like, what the heck happened over here? Lost my voice and everything already too. Kind of rippling it out. And this paper is kind of easy to do that because it's watercolor paper. So once it's wet, it's kind of easy to maneuver to kind of keep that in there. I was gonna go for the rolling thing, but I look like if it's like it's collapsing onto itself. That's kind of what I wanted to do with this. Kind of collapsing onto itself, and you have some dimension there, or whatever you would like to add there, some trim. That looks strange and weird. Definitely got a little bit of me in it. And then we have the sentiment, sending flowers, escaping. Gonna go right on the top. Oh my God, Tanya, that sounded so crazy right now. So let's see if this was a win-win or a flop-flop. The flowers, I like how they came out. My execution of the card, maybe towards the end, I lost it a little bit. Like that. So let me get my die. I'm going to pop it up. So what will happen is that on one of my next ones that I do, where's my chevron? Here it is. Next ones that I do, trying to see what. Then I will be able to too much happening on the bottom. I'll probably just do that. Do these two. I'll do the fishy one, Wednesday or something, or one of my other ones. Uses I can get out of that one's eye. Um, and the thing is like a olive green, so like a yellow with a green. I think will probably be the best. But for this one, I don't even know why I'm using my big one, but I could just use my small plates. Does this fit on here? Yeah. Base and a light yellow topper. Is this too small for this? Yeah. There we go. That'll work. That'll work. Oh. I doubt that my live stream will be the first thing on her mind when she's getting ready to pop a baby out. Okay? I doubt that that will be the case. I do this sentiment, then my card will be finito. And what I'm going to do this one and get this one and cut these both out at the same time. So I got this one. Wait. See, I cut this one out, no problem. So that card stock was just too heavy. It's the best thing I could think of. So my two pieces. And let's see here. Going to be and then we shall go. flowers. I hope that this thing does a good job. So I'm gonna be so upset if the last thing that I gotta add on this card the beyond belief. I'm so scared right now, you guys. I'm so scared. I want to have to do this whole thing over again. Not that I would, not today anyway. So sending you love, sending you flowers is what it says. Making sure all of this stuff looks good. Alrighty, it's kind of small, but it's okay. And then what had happened was that I used my foam tape and son. Yeah. So foams that up and put that on the green. The cleaner at doing this. The new flowers. I just found the dots. I don't even know what I think. I lost them again. That was quick. That was quick. Alrighty, you guys. So I think, and I think I am kind of done. And so is actually um, at the butterfly somewhere here in the bottom since I done made a mess of this situation so that at least it looks like the butterfly is the one that's lifting up. It's the one lifting up the paper in the corner, so it's got some kind of a purpose as opposed to it just looking hella crazy. And there. And that is my wackadoo kind of card for today. Oh, see. Let me see. See, I can see. With today, the little butterfly in the bottom, kind of give it some kind of a reason for why this paper is kind of lifting up. We got the little peekaboo flower here in the corner. Pretty much what I would normally do in a situation where I had infinite amount of time or I had done a better job of managing my time. I would have probably colored in, some of this actually done paper in the background as opposed to just stamping a white image on there. Done is actually different ways, but I mean, I could have done a lot of different things to this instead of just leaving this like this. But for now, so we have the dimension here, the little lip of going away of the rose, which is kind of like a little peekaboo. Overall, the card is pretty much stuck well. On the inside, you can kind of write whatever you want to write, however you want to decorate it. It's completely up to you. You can add paper, so on and so forth. Hopefully, the next time that I come on, I'll manage my time a little bit better. I'm to the point of more production, everything else. But I do want to thank you guys, as always, for your time with me, chit chatting with me, listening to me, and all of that good stuff. I will catch you guys on the next one. Be sure to watch me Wednesday. God willing, I shall be here at 6 p.m. sharp. Any suggestions or anything like that for next Wednesday, then let me know. myself more or less my head wrapped around it, and see what I come up with. I have dies and stamps coming in. What I would like to do is use them as they get here. That's kind of like the goal. Granted, if I get more than one, I won't be able to use it, at the same time. But let you guys choose one and then kind of go at it and just do things like that. Managing my time a little bit better. Anything to do with coloring for me just takes a while. So I just gotta see how I figure stuff up. Maybe next time I'll just have ready, or pre-cut, or at least pre something, kind of move through, the stuff. But overall, I hope you guys had an awesome time. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. Hugs and kisses to you, all my friends, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Sending you flowers.